Low, distant thunder, a single organ chord lingers like smoke, voice almost a whisper at first. 1967. America is bleeding. Kennedy is dead. King is dead. Vietnam is eating its children alive. And somewhere in Los Angeles, 4 young men step into a studio and do something no one else dares. They don't sing about peace and flowers. They don't promise you a good trip. They open a door and drag you straight into the dark. This is the true story of how the Doors didn't just play psychedelic rock. They murdered it and resurrected it as something ancient, terrifying, and sacred. The 1960s didn't start with love. They started with the end of God. 2 world wars had ripped the sacred out of the West. Churches were empty. Death had become medical, clinical, meaningless. A whole generation grew up staring at mushroom clouds on television, waiting for the flash that would erase everything. So they looked for new gods. And they found one in a tiny, colorless tab called LSD. Aldous Huxley, the prophet with the English accent, told them the doors of perception could be cleansed. Timothy Leary told them to turn on, tune in, drop out. San Francisco painted itself in rainbows and danced barefoot in the park. Every band rushed to soundtrack the trip, swirling organs, backward tapes, lyrics about purple haze and white rabbits. Psychedelic rock became the jingle of the new religion. Harmless, pretty, commercial. Then the Doors walked in and slammed the door shut behind them. January 4th, 1967. Their first album drops like a guillotine. No bass player, just Ray Manzarek's left hand crawling across the low keys of a Vox Continental, floating the bass lines in air instead of earth. His right hand painting cathedral chords that feel older than Christianity. Robby Krieger's guitar flickering between flamenco ghosts and Delta blues knives. John Densmore hitting the drums like he's calling spirits across a jungle at midnight. And front and center, shirt open, leather pants, eyes already somewhere else, stands Jim Morrison. Not a rock star. A shaman who wandered out of the desert and accidentally picked up a microphone. This is not music to get high to. This is music to die to and come back wrong. Listen close. While the Beatles are holding your hand and Jefferson Airplane is telling you to feed your head, the Doors are whispering, there are things known, and there are things unknown, and in between are the Doors. They understood something the hippies never did. Drugs aren't the point. Drugs are just the gasoline. The fire was already burning inside the human soul, thousands of years old, hungry, and locked in a cage of reason. Morrison didn't want to liberate your mind. He wanted to unleash the monsters hiding behind it. He wanted you to scream with them. He wanted you to burn. Ray Manzarek, calm Buddhist philosophy student, saw the Dionysian hurricane in Jim and gave it perfect Apollonian shape. Together they built songs that walk like ancient initiations. You enter the labyrinth in Break On Through. You face the mother, the father, the killer in the end. You ride through storms and horse latitudes and crystal ships until the ego dissolves and something older looks out through your eyes. Every track is a ritual. Every album is a near-death experience set to music. Light My Fire, that's not a love song. That's an invocation. Riders on the Storm, that's the ferryman collecting his fare. When the music's over, that's the moment the tribe turns on the shaman and tears him apart so spring can come again. Critics called it theater. Morrison called it exorcism. Gene Youngblood wrote, "If the Beatles and the Stones blow your mind, the Doors are for the moment after, when your mind is already gone." This isn't psychedelic. This is anguish set to music. This is ritual. This is psychic sexual exorcism. And he was right. Because while the Flower Children were pretending death didn't exist, the Doors were staring straight into its face, singing about incest, murder, snakes crawling inside the skull, oceans of blood, the end of the world. They took the blues, the oldest, blackest, most sacred cry of the human voice, and dragged it screaming into the 20th century. They took Baroque laments, Spanish funeral marches, Indian ragas, Latin rhythms, howlin' wolf growls, Kurt Weill cabaret, threw them all into the same cauldron and stirred with a human bone. And somehow it worked, because it wasn't random, it was mythic. Every song follows the same ancient pattern: descent, death, rebirth. Every concert was a mass where the priest bled and the congregation lost their minds. The hippies preached universal love. Morrison mocked them to their faces. You walk across the floor with a flower in your hand, trying to tell me no one understands. He saw the peace sign for what it was. Another empty symbol in a world that had killed God and was terrified of the silence left behind. So he became the new God, dangerous, beautiful, doomed, a God who would die at 27 so the myth could live forever. The Doors didn't ride the wave of the 60s, they were the wave that crashed and drowned the decade. Everything that came after, punk, goth, grunge, industrial, owes them blood money. Because they proved rock could be more than rebellion. It could be sacrament. It could rip your soul open and show you what's really in there. So light the fire, get in the car, roll the windows down, let the storm hit. And when Jim's voice comes crawling through the speakers asking if you've ever seen the end, don't look away. Because the door is still open and something on the other side has been waiting for you since 1967. Single organ note sustains, fades into thunder. Tell me in the comments, what was the first Doors song that crawled under your skin and refused to leave? And if you dare, play the end tonight, alone in the dark. See what looks back at you from the mirror when it's over, like if this hit you in the chest. Subscribe if you're ready to go deeper into the fire. I'll be waiting on the other side.